What is going on, Diablo fans? Dobrunsky here, and today's video is going to be my final video for 2022. I just wanted to say thank you so much for being a part of this channel, whether you've been a long-term subscriber or brand new to the channel. I just want to say thank you so much for a great year, and I thought a great way to cap off the end of the year would be to do a December Q&A. So I really like making these videos because it's kind of a way to have a one-on-one interaction with a lot of the cool questions that you guys ask me. So again, a quick reminder before we jump into this video, I will be grabbing the questions from the comment section of this video for next month's installment. So if you guys want to ask any cool Diablo related questions, make sure you sound off in the comment section below. With that being said, let's jump in. So the first question comes from Seven Phillip, and his question is, it's kind of suspicious that almost every other beta tester had a negative experience with Diablo 4. How come you are the only one defending it? Did money influence your opinion, or are you just not allowed / afraid to tell us your real site of view? Okay, so a lot of different angles I want to sort of break down this question. The first is, in no way, shape, or form am I paid by Blizzard, and if I was paid by Blizzard to promote a product, I would have to legally disclaim that in a YouTube video. When you upload a video on YouTube, there's a checkmark box where you have to publicly disclaim whether or not you are promoting a product. There is advertising laws around this, which you can risk getting your channel copyright striked or terminated or not complying with these laws. So I shouldn't say copyright strike. You can actually just get a strike on your channel for not complying with these laws. So I would not risk 4+ years of making Diablo content and going from 0 subscribers, because everybody starts out on YouTube with 0 subscribers, to over 115,000. I would not throw that away from just not claiming like a paid sponsorship. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I have in many instances been negative of directions that Blizzard has taken. So I have been outspoken about what I think are poor reversals of patch notes changes in Diablo 2 Resurrected. Why do you have to recast them? There's no difference in damage constantly recasting them versus casting them once, then just having them follow you. The only difference is one is annoying and you have to hit your quick cast 100,000 fucking times. I have spoken out against Diablo Immortal, that again is just littered with a ton of microtransactions and a monetization model that I am personally not a fan of. And I just recently released a video titled 5 Things That I Hate About Diablo 4 that in 2 days has had 40,000 plus views of me focusing only on negative aspects of Diablo 4. So I think that maybe people are either expecting me to scream at the monitor with things that I don't like about the game, or maybe people already sort of have it made up in their mind that they just don't like the game, and then me stating any aspect of enjoying it is just being a paid shill. But that is really all that I have for this question. So in no way, shape, or form am I paid from Blizzard. There's a lot of things that I like about Diablo 4. There's a lot of things that I don't like, and just maybe take my opinion with a grain of salt and check out other content creators before you decide whether or not you actually want to play Diablo 4. But that's really all I have for this question. So the next question is from Sunboy34, and his question is, what do your numbers and your nickname mean? So the 125 is a reference to my favorite motocross bike, the 125cc two-stroke racing bike. That bike is just so much fun. It is light and nimble. It's not necessarily the fastest bike, but it's just a blast to rip around on a motocross track. And yes, before I had a YouTube channel, when I wasn't afraid of breaking my arm or leg, I would rip around a motocross track. I just had a lot of fun doing it, and that's what the reference, or the 125 references in my name. It's just a motocross displacement CC class. So the next question is from Jeffrey Finney. What boss was the most mentally straining to farm in the Human Bot Project? So for those that don't know, the Human Bot Project was basically how I started my YouTube channel. I would farm different monsters or locations 1,000 times, compile all the drops, and then make a video, and then move on to the next area or location. And doing 1,000 bail runs was probably the most taxing Human Bot Project. It was just hours. I think in that video I referenced how long it took. I actually died twice, which took away most of the experience that I gained from doing the 1,000 runs, because I was level 98 on a sorceress, so that was also painful as well. Yeah, definitely 1,000 bail runs was the most mentally straining by far. Next question is from Nihilist666. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. What was your best drunk missed object? Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. Honestly, I don't really drink, and I don't really drink and play Diablo 2 at the same time, but I did miss a win force during a bail run live on stream on single player. That was a little bit painful because I was still missing at the time having that item to complete the Holy Grail. So I would say just missing win force is probably the worst item that I've ever missed in D2. Next question from Rory Sweeney is very interesting. His question is, what is one thing Diablo 4 could take from D2R to drastically improve the game? So I would say just Diablo's spread of itemization use. Everything from a base to roll a rune word to a magic item, rare item, set, unique, or rune word can potentially be the best in-slot item depending on the particular rolls. Magic items are probably the least used. I mean, there is some like 320 circlets, 2 open socket, things like that. But for the most part, Diablo is really the only ARPG I can think of that has an in-slot use for almost every single item. A lot of them kind of fall into this trap of like, you're just running along, you grab a magic, you grab a rare, then you jump to legendary set, and that's just what you end up using. I think that spread of item diversity is one thing that D4 could take from D2R to drastically improve the game. Next up, we have a question from Vinilin Stefanov. His question is, do you think Terror Zones will be implemented to single player after this ladder, or they will keep it for online only? I honestly don't know. Looking into my crystal ball, I'm going to speculate that Terror Zones will never be implemented into single player, just because it's, my understanding is sort of like hard baked into the server coding, because every hour it shifts in the server. So I don't know if you can replicate that on single player. Maybe you can. Is it the best use of the devs' resources? I don't know. Single player community would probably argue that it is. People that want more content added to ladder would probably argue that it's not, but I would speculate that single player will probably never see the implementation of Terror Zones. Next question is from Derek Campbell. His question is, after playing the beta, Diablo 4 feels less like Diablo and more like Lost Ark or other isometric MMOs. Do you find the game felt like playing a different genre entirely? I think this really just depends on who you ask. Personally, I thought that it did feel like a Diablo game. I mean, there is some exploration, some gathering of crafting materials to like up your potions, some sort of like fetch quests going from like this end of the map to that end of the map. But I don't necessarily think that it doesn't feel like a Diablo game. I mean, a lot of people will argue it's just a D3 copy and paste or whatnot, but it's genuinely did feel like Diablo to me. Like, I don't know. I've never played Lost Ark. I've played Path of Exile, Last Epoch, Diablo 2. I mean, I have played Diablo 3, Diablo 1, whatever. I have played other ARPGs, but it did sort of feel along that vein in my opinion. But I mean, I think it's kind of entirely subjective, to be honest. Next question is from Jonathan. Will you try PoE 2 if it comes out? Absolutely. I'll definitely play Path of Exile 2. I do like Path of Exile for the most part. Some of the mechanics are a little bit convoluted or overcomplicated in my opinion, and also some of the visual effects are a little bit on the extreme end of the spectrum, but I do enjoy playing Path of Exile. One of my biggest gripes, to be honest, is genuinely when people will nitpick or like shit on an ARPG or like Diablo 4, but they've only ever played Diablo 2. Like, I really think you need to play other games like Last Epoch, Wolcen, Diablo 2, a little bit of Diablo 3, Path of Exile 2, to at least like have a different perspective of other mechanics and how combat in other games work. If you're sort of just like tunnel vision focused in on only ever playing one game, I don't think you kind of have like a good wide spread of experience to really nitpick on a game. Personally, I mean, I think a lot of people might agree or disagree with that, but definitely I will try Path of Exile 2 when it comes out. Next question is from Todd Schwiebert. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Will we see a paladin / cleric / crusader in Diablo 4? I feel like the holy man is missing out, or is that the point? All the paladins have fallen. Again, sort of one of those like crystal ball questions, but I would imagine a future expansion or season of Diablo 4 will introduce a new character class or potentially like 2 new character classes. I think right now they have a pretty solid base. I mean, they have sort of like your caster hybrids, melee hybrids between like the rogue, barbarian, druid, and sorceress, and the necro. They're in a pretty good spot, but I definitely think that is a missing slot, like a holy warrior or whatever. So it would not surprise me if like the next revealed class is some sort of like paladin, cleric, or crusader. Like, I think that's a pretty good guess. So the second last question comes from Mick Pratt. And his question is, do you believe the loot system, limited trading / class specific loot, will kill Diablo 4? Short answer, no. Long answer, this is a very divisive issue, and I think a lot of people, the second they see or hear restricted trading, they write off Diablo 4 as being dead. In an ideal world, I would prefer completely unrestricted trading, but with that being said, I think a lot of people are either choosing to not actually pay attention to the possibilities of the current proposed system. You can, in the current system, farm a legendary essence, and then you could trade for a very desirable rare weapon or body armor that has all the different affixes and high rolls that you want. It could be very sought after, and then you could trade for that particular rare, then put a legendary essence on it and turn it into a legendary item, and then you can trade for crafting materials to re-roll those affixes on the legendary items. So I definitely think there will be trading communities around sort of making weapons like that. Maybe they're not going to be the best in-slot weapon, but I can't see how a good rolled rare and with a very desirable legendary essence that you farm, how you can't sort of make a useful weapon or item out of it. But personally, I don't think D4 is going to die from its current trading system. But I think a lot of people do think that it is. But again, it's just such a divisive issue that I'm just going to leave it at that. So the final question to wrap up my December Q&A for 2022 comes from Billy Goat. And his question is, how do you not get bored of D2R? And the honest answer is, I do get bored of D2R. Actually haven't currently streamed Diablo 2 in over a month. I've taken a bit of a break, been streaming some variety games on Twitch, been playing the Callisto Protocol and the Crash Bandicoot recently. I've been enjoying those games, so if you're interested in sort of hanging out during some of that content, again, follow on Twitch would be awesome. I got the link for a channel in the description below, but I definitely do get bored of the game at times. I am human. Now, I'd be lying if there wasn't a financial incentive to make Diablo-related videos on YouTube. Anyone that has a fairly large YouTube channel that makes money is a liar if they tell you that there's like not a bit of a financial incentive to make videos. Like, that's always going to be there. Again, sort of referencing back to the first question about being honest, there is a financial incentive for me to continue to make Diablo-related content. With that being said, I do at times get bored of D2R. I am human. But that wraps up today's video, guys. Again, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, if you could throw a like on it, just let me know in the comment section below. If you disagree with any of my takes, any feedback is always welcome as long as you're not a dick. And with that being said, don't forget to leave a question in the comment section below for next week's video. Anyways, guys, hopefully you have a great New Year's, and I'll catch you guys in 2023. Peace out.